TalkBox.
When did you get to the point where you were doing, sets and headlining and stuff
Yeah.
to when you started doing these hour-long shows? Because you've done about 5 TV specials.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And they're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's really nice that
It's
you've
so
seen them.
funny.
Thank you.
And
I think in 2005 I started headlining and doing hours, but the big difference comes when people are there to see you and you can really be yourself. You don't have to appeal to just people who came to a comedy club.
That's when you've reached
Yeah.
a plateau, I think.
And so I don't think that happened until like 2014 and then there was a dramatic change in 2016 when I had done, I think in 2015, a spot on Conan's show where I told this story, and it was completely made up about how all the states got their abbreviations. Oh, thank you. And nobody saw it when it first came out, and then Patton Oswalt saw it, and he says, "I can't believe I missed this," and he put it on Facebook.
Nice.
And then all of a sudden, I would be filling 300-seat
Just
theaters.
for that repost?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It was incredible. It
If
changed.
you haven't seen it, watch the bit about the two...
It's called How the States Got Their Abbreviations.
Yes.
Because they all have 2-letter abbreviations. And that changed everything. And then I was going to comedy clubs where people were familiar with what I did and how I did it, and then I could do similar jokes that were longer and weirder.
But did they go, do the bit about the post office?
No. It was interesting. Occasionally they would, and they knew all the words to it, which is uncomfortable and not great for comedy. But for the most part, I'd been doing it so long that I had other stories that were in a similar type of style and sensibility,
Right?
So that they were satisfied with what I was doing, and then you just become more and more yourself and become more and more comfortable in that. So I feel like 2015, 2016 at 45, 46 was when I hit my stride, but also when I had a 2.5-year layoff in terms of productivity because
Right.
I went crazy. I went nuts and wound up in the psych ward for a month and
Which is the subject of one of your shows.
yeah, that was the subject of a show called The Great Depression that I did, and that was the first time I was really open about my personal life. It wasn't. Did you ever notice? It became, hey, I ever get recognized in the psych ward?
That had to be a big step.
That was a big step because nobody knew that I was mentally ill, and then everybody with an HBO subscription knew I was mentally ill. And the thing I learned from that was it's much more comfortable to be open rather than keeping secrets.
Yeah.
It was really a
friends
a dramatic
surprised?
lesson. They were surprised at how bad it was because I never told anybody I went to the psych ward. I said I'm taking a break, and only my manager and my wife and my immediate family knew that I was getting
Right.
electroshock therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was like 2.5 years.
2.5 years of which I was for half of it I was probably like catatonic on the couch.
Yeah.
And I was able to, for a period, I was able to pull myself together at the end of the day and go down to the Comedy Cellar and do 15 minutes. And that was good. That was healthy because I was around people.
So you were still doing little sets.
For
here
part
and
of it. And then occasionally I would go on the road, and it became a fight not to find a really high bridge in every city.
Right.
It was brutal.
But during that time and you were doing a stage time, was it about your condition and stuff?
No, not until I got out of the hospital, and I looked so. I was a wreck. I was not able to pull myself together for the shows that I had to do. So I looked off, and I was biting my lips, and my lips were often either just scabby or bleeding. And from anxiety, I would bite my lip, and then I had to address it because I had to make some sort of joke about I look like a lunatic.
Yeah.
I was not showering, and And so I would talk about it, and then people would come off after the show and tell me that they had similar experiences.
So this came organically?
Yes. And then you're rewarded for something in a different way.
Yeah.
I had just gotten laughs, and now I was connecting with people, and they were feeling.
Which people hadn't done before.
Well,
I mean,
a lot
as
of people
much.
had done it. Maria Bamford was very open,
Yeah.
and Chris Gethard.
Yeah.
So I was standing on the shoulders of these giants. So I didn't have to be the first person to open up about this, but I opened up about it in a different way. And it was very helpful that I had this audience from Patton Oswalt's repost.
That's amazing.
And that they were sensitive enough to be like, oh, we don't want to listen to this guy tell scary. They're not really scary stories, but to somebody who's uninitiated in terms of the mental health condition and hospitalization, it could be a little bit scary. I wouldn't have wanted to hear stories of hospitalizations before that. But if you can make it funny,
yes,
they will go with you.
But the cynic in me, sometimes the managers and stuff bring it up like, so let's turn this into something good.
Oh, it's really funny. I wrote jokes about it, and my manager figured out a way to monetize it, which is their job. But he was he was very patient with me in terms of he didn't say, all right, let's get you out on the road.
Let's get you on the road now with Dane Cook again.
Whenever you're ready was the mantra, but it was a slow recovery because and the other person who was just so incredibly patient was my wife because she had to sit with me 23 hours a day when I wasn't on stage and talk me through my misery.
But then you came out on the other end of it.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah, and I do have 7 years. I almost feel like a person who's in the program, but 7 years of uninterrupted mental health. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Rich.
You don't need my validation, but yes, you've got it.
I like validation. So, yeah.